They say money talks, but today we need to ask, who is it talking to? And more importantly, what is it saying? Because if money talks, then black dollars, they scream. And the real question is, are we listening? We need to sit with this for a minute because something is happening in this country and we have to make sure we understand it. Not just for ourselves, but for our children, for our sons, for our daughters, for the ones who will inherit the economy we leave behind. The February 28th boycott of Target, Walmart, and Amazon, that wasn't just a protest. That was a lesson, a reminder, a challenge. And now, with this 40-day economic fast targeting Target, no pun intended, we have to ask ourselves, what are we really fighting for? Does this movement have the power to create real change? And as black fathers, what can we teach our daughters and sons about the economics of power? Because understand me when I say this is bigger than Target. This is bigger than DEI. This is about how we show up in a system that, to be honest, was never designed for us to win. See, people love to talk about cancel culture, but let's be real. We don't own enough to really cancel anybody. The only real power we have in this system is our dollars, and they know it. A dollar in the hands of a conscious black consumer is more powerful than any vote cast in a rigged or unrigged election. Here's the part nobody wants to talk about. Most of us will not do it. Most of us will find a way to find an exception, to make an exception. Most of us will say, well, I still need to make my Target run, or it's just too doggone convenient, or I don't see what the big deal is. And that's the problem, because they bet on our comfort. They bet on our short attention spans. They bet on the fact that we will not be disciplined enough to make real sacrifices. And the sad part is, they're right. We don't have the unity yet to make this movement work. Unfortunately, let's be real. If every black person in America decided today, right now, that we were going to completely remove our dollars from Target, Walmart, Amazon, and every company that disrespects us, we would collapse those corporations within a year, 1 year. Do you understand the power of that? Do you understand how much control we really have? But we won't do it. Because too many of us are still mentally enslaved. We want the benefits of liberation without the struggle of resistance. What else do we want? We want the rewards of economic freedom without the discipline of sacrifice. And we want to see change. But do we want to change? Nope. And that's why they don't fear us. One lesson we learned from Black Wall Street that taught them a lesson too is, and they made sure we never really learned it. It taught them a lesson. A thriving black community, doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, circulating the black dollar, building generational wealth. And what happened? They burned it to the ground. They didn't just bomb buildings. With that, they bombed an entire idea, the idea that we didn't even need them. The idea that we could build our own. And ever since then, they have done everything in their power to make sure that we never try that again. See, they don't have to burn down Black Wall Street today. They don't have to drop bombs on our businesses. They figured out a better way. They made sure we never built it again. They made sure we depended on their jobs, depended on their money. They made sure we depended on their grocery stores, their banks, their corporations, their skincare products. They made sure that even when we did build something for ourselves, we still had to ask them for permission. And now we do it to ourselves. We even hesitate before spending money at black businesses. We ask, is it cheaper at Amazon? Can I get it faster at Walmart? Or can I just order it online? It's so much easier. And we hesitate to invest in ourselves because they have conditioned us to believe that we are not enough. But you know what? The great ones stand alone. That's the truth. Not everyone will be on this journey. Not everyone will boycott. Not everyone will stand firm. But the great ones always do. The leaders always do. The ones who are willing to stand for something, even if they stand alone. Those are the ones who make history. You think Rosa Parks had everybody supporting her? Everybody. Even in the community. You think Malcolm X wasn't criticized by his own people? Still happening today. You think Martin Luther King Jr. didn't have black folks calling him too extreme or even too passive? History is full of leaders who had to walk alone before the people caught up. And that's what this moment is, or can be. This is not a moment for the comfortable. This is not a moment for the weak-willed. This is not a moment for the ones who still need permission. This is a moment for the ones who will stand tall even when they're standing alone. And so I record this video as a message to my black daughter. Baby girl, I don't need you to be liked. I don't need you to be comfortable and take the safe route. I need you to be great. Because the world will tell you just go along with the program. They will say you're making too much of this. They will say it's not that serious. But listen to your father. It is always that serious. Every time we compromise, we weaken our position. Every time we give in, we tell them we can be controlled. And every time we choose comfort over conviction, we prove that we are still not free. So baby girl, I will teach you how to stand tall. I will teach you how to walk alone if you have to. I will teach you that black dollars matter, but only when black people decide they matter. And I will teach you that real freedom comes at a cost. Some will pay it, some won't, most won't. But the great ones always do. So, baby girl, if you're going to truly understand money, I mean truly understand it, you have to start with fear. Because fear controls everything. Fear is why black people still ask for permission. Fear is why we hesitate before buying from black businesses. Fear is why we expect the worst from our own people, but give other businesses endless chances. Fear is why we can't imagine life without Target, Walmart, and Amazon. Because if we truly believed in our own power, we wouldn't need them. And that's the psychology of economic fear. They have conditioned us to believe that if we stop supporting their system, we will starve. That if we refuse to shop at their stores, then we will have nothing. That if we build our own economy, we will somehow fail. But let's put the numbers on the table. Black Americans spend like $1.6 trillion every year. That's not a typo. 1.6 trillion. That's more than the GDP of Mexico. That's more than the economy of entire nations. And yet, out of that 1.6 trillion, how much do we own? Almost nothing. 95% of that leaves our community. We spend it on brands that don't invest in us. We spend it on corporations that don't hire us. We spend it on businesses that would never sponsor our events, support our schools, or reinvest in our neighborhoods, at least not wholesale. And this is by design. They have built a system where we make the money, but never keep it. We are the engine of the economy, but we're not in the driver's seat. So baby girl, let me tell you what happens when you don't control your own economy. You become dependent. And when you're dependent, you can be controlled. You know, they're going to try to make examples out of us. Every time a black business gets too big, they try to find a way to tear it down or buy it out. Now let's tell a story about Claude Anderson. This man tried to build a black-owned seafood distribution company to serve black-owned restaurants. You know what happened? White-owned seafood suppliers came together and blackballed him. They refused to sell to him. They refused to let him into the supply chain. Just like that, his business was done. And this is what happens. If you think Black Wall Street was just a one-time thing, You're not paying attention. They did not just burn down Tulsa. They didn't just destroy Rosewood. They must have been making examples out of us for centuries. They've been making examples out of us for centuries. Because they know if we ever truly unite our money, we become unstoppable. But the problem with us sometimes is we don't think long term. That's the painful truth. Most of us can't see beyond next week's paycheck or the one-day boycott. We can't see beyond the next sale at Target. We can't see beyond just the convenience. A lot of folks who are successful are thinking 100 years ahead. And a lot of times we think about Friday. They think about legacy. They build systems. They create institutions. A lot of us are thinking about getting paid today or next month. We're thinking about buying something now. We think about the comfort in the moment. And this is why they stay in power. And we stay asking for help. We can win, but we can't win until we choose discipline over comfort. So let me make this simple. You can have comfort or you can have power, but you can't have both. If we want power, we have to give up the comfort of convenience. If we want power, we have to give up the comfort of business as usual. If we want power, we have to be willing to sacrifice what's easy for what's necessary. And most people won't do it. Most people will find an excuse. Most people will say it's too hard. Most people will keep feeding a system that is killing them. And that's why most people will never be free. And remember, like I said before, the ones who stand tall and stand alone, they will be the ones who build the future. To my daughter, I don't expect the masses to get this. Most people aren't built for this fight, but that's fine because leaders don't need a crowd. Revolutionaries don't wait for permission. And greatness, greatness always stands alone first because before the world follows, there's always a season where the great ones walk alone. Martin walked alone before they marched with them. Malcolm walked alone before they quoted him. Harriet walked alone before she led them to freedom. If you look at it, this is how it's always been. And this is how it always will be. So if you're looking for every black person to suddenly wake up overnight, it won't happen. If you're looking for all of us to boycott together, it won't happen. If you're looking for mass unity before you take action, you're going to be waiting forever. But if you understand that the great ones lead first, then you understand why we cannot afford to wait. So what comes next? To my daughter, please listen to me. This fight isn't just about boycotting. This fight is about what comes after the boycott. It's about creating alternatives. It's about investing in black businesses. It's about teaching financial discipline, owning something real. Because boycotting without building is just begging. So here's what comes next. The first step. Stop just talking. You don't need permission. Stop debating and start acting. 2, create alternatives. If you boycott, where are you shifting your money? If you don't have an answer to that, then you're not ready. Number 3, invest in black business. Don't just talk about it, do it. And number 4, to my fathers, teach your children the game. Stop raising our kids to think like employees. Teach them to think like owners. And 5, remember that history, if not taught, if not learned from, repeats itself. They will come for our businesses. They will come for our leaders, and they will try to divide us. Be ready. Baby girl, listen to your father. We are not powerless. We are not weak. We have everything we need to be great, but we have to make the choice. We have to walk away from comfort. We have to stand tall, even when we stand alone. Because this isn't about Target. This isn't about Walmart. This is about us. And to my fathers, if we don't teach our daughters and sons this lesson now, who will? If you hear me, if you truly understand what I'm saying, then you know it's time to act. The revolution won't be televised. It won't be televised, but it will be funded. And the question is, who are you funding? All right, good people, thank you for taking the time to listen, to think, and to have this conversation with me. This isn't just about a boycott. It's about how we move forward as a people, as families, and as individuals who refuse to stay powerless. If this message resonated with you, drop a comment. Let's talk about it. If you're a Black father, a Black mother, or just someone who cares about real change, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on your notification. I know this is a break from my Papa Prep program, but these conversations, we're going to keep having them. When they come up and they happen, we're going to keep having them. Our kids deserve more. Our dollars deserve more, and we deserve better. Until next time, stay strong, stay aware, and stay moving. Stay moving forward. This video was brought to you by Right Skin Care. Check out your Right Skin Care, RYT, reveal your truth, www.rytskincare.com. Peace.